Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to my relationship show this evening, The Princess Secrets. I am your hostess, Norma Bryant Howard, coming to you live from Studio 2020. And this is a very, very beautiful day over here on this side of the United States. And I'm hopefully and prayerfully you're having the sun shining and it's a beautiful warm day over on your side of the world. So since the weather is getting warmer and people are getting antsy, I know I have a lot of friends that are getting antsy and because they were not able to go anywhere during our tumultuous year of 2020, and they were not able to take any trips, go anywhere with their husbands, their boyfriends, their kids, and they are well. We all have our fingers crossed that we're going to be able to. The world's going to open back up, and we're going to be able to do some traveling. Then that sounds exciting for 2021. And I have a friend, a beautiful young lady. I'm going to introduce her in just a minute or two. And she is a travel agent. She owns her own travel agency. She's going to tell you all about it in just a minute or two. And she's going to let us know what we should not do when it comes time to doing some traveling. So we have a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on all the way. She's coming in this evening, all the way from Hawaii. Yes, yes, Hawaii, coming all the way in from Hawaii this evening. So I'm going to bring her on right now. So, hello, Alyssa. How are you?
Hi, Miss Norma. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing just great. I'm doing just great. And I heard that out of 365 days in the year, that over where you are in Hawaii, that you have at least 350 days of good weather.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The weather's always perfect here. And if it's not perfect where you are, you could just drive across to the other side of the island and it's probably perfect over there. So we may
Uh,
even get 365 days a year.
we're jealous. I want you to know that, Alyssa. We are jealous. Okay. So, I would like for you to introduce yourself. Tell the viewers a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from. Are you married? Do you have children? What's the name of your business? We just the viewers they want to know all about Miss Alyssa Lloyd. So, would you introduce yourself to the viewers now?
Sure. So my name is Alyssa Lloyd, as you can, I guess, probably see here. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, originally. My family then moved to Las Vegas when I was 13. So I grew up in Cleveland and Las Vegas. And then I moved to Hawaii in it's been 4 years now. So in the beginning of or mid 2017 we moved to Hawaii, and yeah, we're here for the foreseeable future. So I am married, and we have two beautiful nerve testing children. A 5-year-old who will be 6 soon next month, and a 2-year-old who just turned 2 actually a few weeks ago. And if you're wondering if the twos are terrible, they are.
Oh, yes, we've experienced going through that.
Yes. And I actually was in the corporate side of the travel world for my entire career. So I worked for Expedia, which is an online travel agency, a pretty large online travel agency, in which I managed contracts for hotels and activities, as well as managed their business to business relationships. So I've kind of been in the travel world for quite a while. And now I own a travel consulting agency. So what I do is curate custom itineraries for luxury travelers. And we have a very niche market. We're talking about, corporate professionals, doctors, folks like that who don't necessarily have time to plan an amazing trip, but want to have an amazing trip. That's where we come in and we alleviate all of that stress.
Hmm.
Um, and the name of the company is Distinction Travel Services. And we just
Okay.
take care of every single detail from the time that they get to the airport all the way to the time they get back
Oh
home.
my goodness. Oh no, that does sound luxurious. That's the only word I can come up with is that that sounds luxurious. It's taking care of all of my needs and everything. And life is short, as we know, so we should not just keep putting things off. I know a lot of people do that. They just keep putting things off and saying, I can't afford it. I'll do it, 5 years, 10 years down the road. But, we should plan, all of us, myself being at the front of the line, plan a luxury trip so that you can just look back on it and just say, oh, back in 2021, I went to blank. I went to blank.
Oh
So,
yeah, and you didn't miss a thing. That's the thing, is that a lot of folks, they don't know what to look for, where to look. So we make sure that you don't miss the must do things. So even if it's something that you only experience once in a lifetime, you should definitely do it. While we do have
definitely.
several repeat clients, it's definitely something that everybody should do once in a lifetime.
Right, right. Well, I've got to be honest. I've only been to two different countries in my life. I've been to Canada to the Caravana Festival up in
Ooh,
Ontario, and then my younger sister and I we went down to Ocho Rios and
love Ocho
Montego
Rio.
Bay in Jamaica. And I heard through the grapevine somebody said that you simply adore Jamaica. Can you
Oh my
tell the
gosh.
viewers why you adore Jamaica so much?
You know what? And I don't know if my husband is on this live or not, but I always tell everybody I'm Jamaican, and he's always there to be like, she's not Jamaican. But but I always say that because as soon as I step off the plane when we land, I just feel so much peace. I feel at home. I just feel like so relaxed. And I keep telling him, like, I have to be. That's the only explanation for the feeling that comes over me when I step off the plane here. And it's just, out of all destinations, it's just such a laid back place. You can still get your adrenaline pumping, and you can get your activity rush out, but I'm telling you,
Oh,
it's something that takes over you when you land
wow. Well, I went to Jamaica once, and I'm still planning on going back to Jamaica again. Yes, because it was an awesome, awesome trip that I experienced. But how do people get started traveling if they never ever traveled? They went to their grandmother's house down in Mississippi, their aunt
there.
out in Oklahoma, and their granddaddy down in Alabama, but they want to travel. They want to really want to. So, how does one get started traveling if they want to leave the United States? What's the first thing that they need to do?
Well, I'm a little biased since I'm a travel consultant. And my suggestion would be to find one of us. Reason being is because, especially in this time of COVID, you want to make sure that you don't miss any steps, right? There's so many countries that have entry protocols. If you miss just the most minute thing, you could miss that whole vacation, and not be allowed in or not be allowed to board your flight. So you definitely want to make sure that you have someone advocating for you and taking care of these minor details that become major details for you. Also, just we do a lot of research. We have boots on the ground with connections in those certain places wherever you want to travel almost. So we have insiders knowledge that isn't necessarily public, and we spend all of our time researching. So I would definitely say you want to find someone that fits within your budget and reach out to them and see what you can get started, especially if this is your first trip, because you don't quite know what you don't know. So
Right, absolutely,
you don't
absolutely,
know what
absolutely.
questions to ask that you didn't even know that you needed
That
to
you were
ask.
supposed to ask. Right,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So
Okay.
my number one suggestion is always, you should choose a travel planner like you choose a financial planner.
Oh, all right, all right. Okay, smart. That's very, very smart. The way you would choose a financial planner. Okay, I've got to remember that. Okay, now most people that I know, they don't have a passport. And I have one, but mine is so old, I probably have to shake the dust off of it and blow. I know I need to renew mine. So So, what is the first thing you do when you are deciding to go out the country, take a trip, and you know you need a passport? Because somebody says there's some new rules or something concerning passports.
Well,
Passports.
getting a passport is pretty straightforward. It's a simple application process. Some things can be a little bit more difficult if you have like a felony on your record and things like that. But just while I mentioned that, felons can get a passport. It depends on what type of felony it is on your record. So do not let that stop you from applying for a passport if that's something that you or your loved one are experiencing. But yeah, the passport application is very straightforward. If they do change rules, they're very minute rules, so they don't prevent you from getting a passport. And it's a very simple application process that you should know all the answers to. You send it off. You send off documentation to prove who you are. That could be an older passport. That could be a birth certificate. And
Okay.
the list explains to you, exactly what you need to have in order to send over that passport application. And you do have to make sure that you take a photo. A tip that I always give to my clients is who don't have a passport or who need to renew their passport is don't go pay, Walgreens or CVS $15 to produce one picture for you. There's actually apps that you can use on your
Oh,
phone
oh wow.
that will put your face into the proper position. And you just have to get against a white background and take that photo, and then you can print it for less than $1 at
Amazing.
Walgreens or CVS.
Amazing. That's the first place I would have thought of going is over to Walgreens to get
Well,
my
yeah,
picture
because they
taken.
market it. It's all about marketing, right? They market it well, and you can go there, and it's an easy process. But also, it's an easy process to have someone take your photo at home.
Oh, that's amazing. See, it's what you don't know in this world. It's what you don't know. Now, you say you got, and I've seen pictures of her movie. She had, Alyssa and her husband, they have movie star children. I want everybody to know that. Movie star children. They are so gorgeous. And I do know that you have traveled well, a little bit extensively with your older child, who's a girl, and a little bit of traveling with your son. And I know at one time, your daughter, you all had taken her to Sydney, Australia, Rome, and you know, uh, just traveling with children. Is that very difficult? Tell
For
the
us, it's
viewers.
not very difficult because we made the decision early on that we would be traveling with our children. And you may hear my son in the background because he does
Oh,
not
that's probably
he
fine.
does not give me space. But we decided early on that traveling would be something that was very important in raising our children. And we truly believe that traveling with children, especially overseas, is something that really builds great character and builds the whole child. So we believe that they become more culturally aware, that
Oh,
they're able to
absolutely.
retain education better,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
they're able to, just be more aware in general and really understand what's going on in the world around them, and not necessarily just learning what's presented in a textbook that was presented to
Absolutely.
them in America. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, and this is actually right down the street from our house now. At the time, it wasn't. We were just visiting. We were on vacation, but but now it's right down the street. So yeah, my daughter has been to. I want to say she's been to 8 countries now. Um, maybe
Wow.
maybe 9. But yeah, she is
She's
experienced. Yeah,
a 5-year-old world traveler.
she is experienced. And my son, we actually got his passport at when he was 7 months. And then we had travel planned, and then COVID hit. So now he'll be taking his first international trip sometime within the coming year. And we're excited for that. But he's traveled. I mean, he's been to about 5 different states already. And technically, anywhere that you go from Hawaii is overseas.
Oh, yes, yes,
So yeah, they
absolutely.
travel quite a bit, and they are professional travelers at this point.
Well, that's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Now, how do you? I hear people say, "I've I'm going to rack up travel points. Now, how do people do travel points and rewards? If I wanted to go to Jamaica, let's say in the fall, how could I rack up travel points, rewards, and things like that? Do you
Well, there's
tell?
definitely several different ways to do it. Obviously, the number one way is to have a travel credit card. Obviously, that's going to depend on your credit history, your score, and things like that. What you can get. The top travel credit cards are the American Express Platinum card, as well as the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Those are the top travel credit cards because their redemption value are the highest out of all credit cards.
My
Um,
goodness.
but another one that is a good lower tier a credit card that is also decent for travel is the Capital One. I want to say it's Capital One Quicksilver, but I'm not too familiar with Capital One's full line of credit cards. But I want to say it's the Capital One Quicksilver, if I'm
Okay,
not
all right.
mistaken.
I didn't know that. Okay, for international travel. So when you're traveling, somebody told me to ask you this question. When you're traveling, how do you get access to those fancy elite status airport lounges?
Well, again, it's on having a travel credit card for us. That's what we utilize is our travel credit card. Is that's how we get access to all of these fancy lounges when we're traveling. But also, if you have status with certain airlines, so you can the more you travel on a specific airline. So that's kind of we try to stay airline loyal for us right now. That's Hawaiian Airlines. So we kind of my daughter who's 5 has status on Hawaiian Airlines because that's how
Mm,
loyal we are to Hawaiian
wow.
Airlines. So you get certain perks like free baggage, free upgrades in your seat, lounge access. So even if you don't necessarily have one of those travel cards, if you build up loyalty with a certain
Oh, okay. I
airline,
see. I see.
you start to obtain their higher tiers for their
Hmm.
travelers.
Wow. I mean, Alyssa in the audience, she really knows. She really, really knows. So if there's anybody in the audience that needs to ask a travel question, Alyssa is your girl. Okay, Alyssa, she really knows what she's talking about. And
If I don't know, I'll find out.
if she doesn't, she will definitely find out. So you did say that you love Jamaica a lot,
Yeah.
but what other outstanding destination have you ever been to that you think is just incredible and you highly recommend it to either single women slash married couples? That's just really incredible.
You know what? We've been to so many amazing places. For married couples, I would definitely suggest Tahiti and Bora Bora. Oh my gosh, beautiful, breathtaking places. Provide. Oh yeah, there we go.
Hey, wow.
Yeah, that's Bora Bora right there. You see the highly recognizable Otamanu Mountain in the background behind the overwater villas there. This is actually a photo from our honeymoon,
Oh, wow.
and
Wow.
such a beautiful place there. The water is magnificent. I mean, you can stand in the ocean and literally see your feet
Oh my goodness. Oh
on
my
the ocean
goodness.
floor. Just a brilliant, brilliant place. I've got clients right now who are looking at honeymooning in either Seychelles, which is off of Madagascar in Africa, or so they're actually going to pit Seychelles against Tahiti and Bora Bora. And Seychelles, I mean, is very comparable to Bora Bora, but even on a higher luxury scale. So definitely another amazing place. I'd say for family, New Zealand, Australia. Those are two places that we had with our families, and we had a pretty large group there, about 15 people that we had traveling through New Zealand for Christmas and Australia for New Year's. If anyone is looking for a destination for New Year's, oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, in
This is
Australia.
Australia.
Right. And I do remember one
This is the 12
picture.
Apostles.
Now, is
Oh
that the
yes, and
opera?
that's Sydney. That
Okay,
was the
let me,
Sydney Opera House that you just
Opera
flashed
House.
to.
Opera House. That's it. That's what I was
Uh-huh.
trying to say. The Opera House.
The
Well,
photo before that was 12 apostles.
oh, wow. Well,
Yeah.
Jasmine Seymour says that you are, she said, she is the expert. And I agree with you, Jasmine. I definitely agree with you that she, meaning Elisa, she is the expert. So she's been to a lot of places. Okay, now we're going to ask, and I want to know what is one thing for a travel agent, an expert, what's on your bucket list? What's one place that you,
Ooh, I've
ooh,
got a
that's,
lot of places on my bucket list. Actually, mine. I think my husband and I add a new place every like month. So right now, I've got Dubai has been at the top of my bucket list. Dubai and Africa. I want to experience the entire continent of Africa. So excitingly, we just booked our Dubai trip. So we'll be going there for my birthday this year. Sorry, my AirPods keep falling out. So we'll be visiting Dubai and Maldives, the Maldives, for my
oh, the
birthday at the end of
Maldives.
this year, which were on the top of our bucket list. And then Africa is now my number one bucket list spot.
What country in Africa? What
Again,
country?
I want to experience the entire continent. So I want to go all the way from Egypt down to South Africa, but I want to do
Wow.
Egypt, I want to do Nairobi, Kenya. I want to do it all the way through.
Well, I have a friend, and she got married right at the beginning, maybe the month before the world closed up. And
Uh-huh.
she and her husband were going to go. I know you know the name of this. It is a hotel in Africa where the giraffe
Giraffe
actually come.
Manor.
What's the name of it?
Giraffe Manor.
Giraffe will come up to you.
Right into your window, right into the
And
window where you're having breakfast.
I can't imagine it. I
Yes, so
cannot.
that's in Nairobi in Kenya,
Yeah, right. So they're still planning on going. That was going to be their honeymoon,
as they
and
should.
I just thought that was so cool, where the giraffe would actually come up to your window, and just kind of like saying good morning to you. I thought that
Yes.
was I thought that was so neat. That was so neat. Okay, now here comes a question from somebody. They gave you a homework assignment, and I hope you're going to pass this test. Okay,
All
they
right.
want to know. I hope you can pass the test. What is since you're in Hawaii right now, what's the state fish of Hawaii?
Oh my gosh. I have no idea.
Somebody just handed me a piece of paper and said,
I
well,
know it
listen,
starts with an I know I'm pretty sure it starts with an H
okay,
and it might have like 26 letters in it. But I do not
well,
know.
the know-it-all person who asked that question, hopefully he can put it on the screen for us right now.
That sounds like a question. It sounds like a question from a very intelligent person.
I'm a very intelligent person. Right. Okay, what would you say to someone who has never been out of their hometown and they want to go, but they're scared, they're nervous, they just don't know
I'm
what to
going to say
expect.
this right here. How can I angle this properly?
And what is that? What are you
It
showing
says,
us?
just go. Just
Just
go.
go.
You
So
have to do it. Another one of my favorite travel quotes is don't listen to what they say, go see. You
oh, I
need to
love
be
that.
there. You need to experience. Here we go, the Hawaii state fish. You need to be there. You need to experience these things. There is such a big world out there. Aside from what we get here in America, you will be so surprised to see the news stations in other countries, to see how much the media plays up things that they want to play up here in America.
Absolutely.
And it just really broadens your perspective. It gives you a whole new appreciation for life, a whole
Absolutely.
new appreciation for human life, those around you. It just really opens your eyes. It broadens your perspective. It gives you a whole new outlook on life and a new appreciation.
Right, because a lot of people can just get stuck. Oh, there the
There's
giraffe.
Giraffe Manor. Yep.
There they are.
Yes, this is definitely on my bucket list too when I visit Kenya.
Yeah, that's right, because that's where they were going was to Kenya. Well, now my sister, her name is Wanda Bride Wills. She says, "What are two or three negative travel traits Americans should not do when traveling?
Traveling.
Two negative traveling traits Americans should not do when traveling."
That's actually a great question. Number one, I always try to tell people to try to learn a little bit about the local language there. Even if you can do things like you can download translation apps that you don't need Wi-Fi access or online access for. You can use Google Translate, where you can even use a microphone to like speak to it, and then it can play you back things in certain different languages. But that's my number one recommendation is to
Oh, okay.
don't just go over there thinking, oh, I'm American, everyone should speak English. Because that's not the way that the world works. The world doesn't revolve
Absolutely.
around us, even though we think that it does. So yeah, I say when you show an effort, folks are willing to be nicer to you. So that's definitely something that I highly recommend. So that's kind of a do and a don't in one. Another thing that I suggest you don't do is don't just fall off the grid, right? Don't just say, hey, you know what? I'm trying to find me. I'm trying to, I'm trying to get out there and travel and I'm not involving anybody or I'm not letting anybody know. Definitely let someone that you trust back home know where you're going, where you're going to be staying, the contact phone numbers for the hotel, your airline itinerary. Share those things with
Oh,
someone that you
absolutely.
trust back home, because you'd be surprised how many people travel alone and they don't share those things. So it's harder to find you if something happens to you if we don't know, where you are, what you were doing, or where you planned to be and did it make it to. So that's another don't. A do kind of in this don't section is to always travel with a photocopy of your passport. You don't want to be out and about and something happened to your
That,
belongings
no, that's
and the
excellent.
passport is taken from you. So when you're traveling, you want to be able to leave your passport in your resort or hotel rooms safe, and then you want to be able to travel out and about in the country with a paper copy of that passport.
Oh, those are such good tips. Those are excellent tips. Things that most people probably would not think of. Now, it looks like you're holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Is that
Yes,
you?
this was a moment that I tried to make Instagrammable.
You got a lot of
So
strength in that little body.
I know, right? Yeah, that tower was quite heavy.
Okay.
And here we tried to see the Pope. Didn't
Oh,
necessarily happen, but and there's an interesting story here. So this picture is very meaningful to me, because we were traveling with my in-laws, and we were. I was pregnant with my son Roman at this time, and we hadn't told anyone. So this is actually how we announced it to them. We had them taking our picture, so we had them take a picture here, and then I don't know if you guys have another picture of us by the fountain, but yes, there we go. And then we had them take our picture right here, and we just put our hands into the fountain, which many believe are holy water, since it's sitting right in front of the church here, and we put our hands into the water, and then when we turned around for them to snap the photo, we all put our hand on my stomach, and this is how we told my
oh,
in-laws that we were expecting.
oh, how sweet. And I know they were really excited.
They were very excited.
Oh, they were excited. Oh, that was so sweet. Well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my hand in the holy water when I go, but I don't expect anybody to be putting their hand on my stomach. Okay, moving right along. Okay.
Me
Uh,
neither anymore. No more. Me neither.
okay. So, what is the longest plane ride that you've ever been on?
Oh, the longest plane ride that I've ever been on, direct, would be LAX to London. That was a Here he comes.
That's okay.
Yeah, so the longest plane ride that was direct was there, and that was actually, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. We had some premium seats there, so it kind of made the travel, more tolerable. But we did fly. We flew from Hawaii to LA, which is already a 5.5 hour flight, and then we flew from LA to London.
Oh, wow.
which that's a long flight. And then here recently, we actually went direct from Hawaii to Orlando. We went to Disney World a few weeks ago for my son's second birthday. And that flight was a long flight as well. That was about a 9.5 hour flight. That was another direct flight. So yeah, another long one.
And I noticed you had some kind of a covering when I peeked in on your pictures when you went to Disney World. Okay, you had some sort of a covering or something on your seats there on the plane. What was that? Or it was something I had never seen before.
Oh, you must be talking about on our way. We flew first class. So are you talking about when the seat was reclined into a fully
Yes,
flat
yes.
bed, and then they give you blankets and pillows and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just the way that their pods are. So for the first class pod, it's just like a round like eggshell looking pod, and then your seat reclines flat back into that pod,
Oh,
a lie
to
flat bed.
to travel first class.
Oh, it's the best. My daughter, we don't always travel first class, but when we do, we try to do it up. But my daughter, she reminds my husband all the time that she is only first class material.
Oh my goodness. I love it. She's
Again,
not
she's
and
5.
she's not 6 years old yet. I love it.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that is great. So what do you do to keep them busy when you're traveling on the plane? On the plane, what do you do to keep them busy so that they won't just freak
You
out?
know what? They're pretty good travelers. So they mostly sleep. But otherwise, they used to have only my daughter's iPad that they shared. Then my son got closer to 2, and he, tries to snatch it from her, and then she obviously wants it back. So he now has his own iPad. So now they can just watch whatever they want to watch,
Oh
or
no,
they
that's
can
good.
utilize the airline entertainment systems to watch whatever they want to watch. We try to download their favorite shows before we go. So, a few nights before we're traveling, we'll get on Netflix and download their favorite shows to their tablets just in case anything is wrong with the airline's entertainment system or, things like that. And then, they both have headphones that they're able to listen to. And then they pretty much knock out. Another suggestion is to travel with their favorite, not just snacks, but also food items.
Oh,
So
okay.
not just chips and fruit snacks and stuff like that. If you're going to be on a flight that's over 4 hours, I highly suggest traveling. Stop in the airport and grab a Burger King sandwich if you want to, but definitely travel with food for them, not
Food,
just
yeah, they
snacks.
definitely. So what do you consider the top three traveling essentials that you may have in your backpack? What are top if you don't well, this is well, let's just say without children.
Hand
Just for an adult.
sanitizer now.
And so, oh yeah,
Hand
definitely.
sanitizer for sure. A pin. Most people don't realize that they need to travel with a pin when they're going to different countries because 9 times out of 10 are going to have to fill out some paperwork to enter or exit different countries, and airlines do not provide pins.
Oh, really?
So if you do not travel with a pin, you're going to be having to borrow from a neighbor, and again, it's COVID. So,
Oh,
so
yes,
always try.
yes.
I always have a pen. I always have hand sanitizer. I always, of course, have my headphones and my own iPad when traveling because I like to be entertained as well.
Oh, right, definitely. Definitely.
Um, let's see. I always another important thing that I always travel with. I put my essentials into my carry-on bag. So that's going to be my toothbrush. Always a change of clothes. I always carry or travel with a folder that has a printed copy of all of my activity vouchers and my passport, my itinerary. I always travel with a folder that has all my hotel confirmations, transportation confirmations. I always travel with a folder that has those things printed out on hard copies. And now my COVID test results and stuff like that. And I keep all of that in my carry-on just in case anything happens with my luggage, anything happens with my electronic device, whether it dies or I can't, find whatever it is that I'm looking for. I always have a copy and it's always on my person.
Oh, now that is very smart. Very, very smart. Very, very good suggestions. Now, this is something that I heard. Okay, is it true or not that you have to have a uh, vaccination shot? You got to have a shot in order to travel nationally or internationally. Have you heard that?
That is not true. So there are countries that are opening back up, a very small amount of countries that are opening back up to only vaccinated travelers, but more countries, so I'm going to say over 90% of countries that are open to international travelers right now are only requiring a COVID test, a negative COVID test within a certain amount of time before you depart. And in order to return back to the US, you only need either a rat or an antigen test or a PCR test. Most countries that are allowing you to travel are requiring a PCR test. Not They will not accept an antigen test. But the US, in order to come back, you need either an antigen test or a PCR test. You don't need to be
No,
vaccinated.
that is very good to know. That's very good to know. Well, since we have a lot of single ladies that come in on Friday nights and watch our show, have you ever planned trips for like that movie? I think that Queen Latifah and I can't
Girls
remember.
trip.
It was called Girls Trip. That's a girls
Yeah.
trip. Do you ever plan destination trips for girlfriends?
Yeah, so our consultancy can actually plan a trip for anyone to anywhere. We do specialize in honeymoons and anniversaries. We also have a minor specialty in traveling with family, just because we have so much personal experience with it. But we have and are also open to planning things like bachelorette trips for the girls, and girls trips.
Wow.
So, and that's something that you definitely want to make sure you have a planner. This was actually a girls' trip, but there was only three of us. There was only three of us on this girls' trip to Costa Rica.
Where were you? Where were you?
This was Costa Rica,
Oh,
and
Costa
this is
Rica.
Playa Concal in Costa Rica. Beautiful, beautiful place. Yeah, this was a girls' trip, and we do plan things like that. Obviously, we can plan pretty much anything, and I do highly suggest having a planner, so that you can make sure everyone's everything is coordinated and plays out exactly how you'd want it to.
Well, I tell you, when are you going to write your travel novel?
You know what? Maybe I'll just sit and I'll do an interview with my mom, who is an author, and I'll let her write it, and I'll just talk to her.
Okay, well, that sounds really, really good. And it sounds like somebody is trying to get your attention. Oh,
As usual.
explain that picture. Where were you?
This is actually in Jamaica, and this is at you know what the name of the place is escaping the top of my head, but it's pretty much a smaller marine park, and they have a little lagoon where you're able to do things like this dolphin experience. And I actually can't swim, so this is me kind of standing on a ledge playing with the dolphin, because I would not miss this experience. But my husband, he is a diver and he swims, so he's actually out in the middle of the water with that dolphin.
My goodness, I am still impressed.
Oh, that's him and our daughter.
I am impressed.
Oh,
When you get home, does it take your body a while to get readjusted back to the United States again? Guys, she lives in Hawaii, but it still seems like another country when you go to Hawaii.
you
And
know what?
there's a
It, I
6 hour difference between us, because trying to coordinate the time to do this show this evening, I kept getting everything all messed up in my head, because it's a 6 hour difference. Because right now it is like 7:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what time is it there, Alyssa?
it's 1:38 p.m. here.
1:38. So does it take you a while to get your body back together after traveling, because everybody talks about how difficult it is to get back to your routine and your time zone again.
Oh yeah, it didn't used to, but now it definitely does. And I don't know if that's because now we travel more often with children, or if it's because we're just getting older. My husband and I, we always try to build in a buffer day, at least one buffer day when we get back from a trip, to just kind of like recover.
Oh yeah, now that makes sense also. Yeah, that does. That makes sense. Well, have you? Do you all ever suggest? The thing over here is Airbnb. So, do you ever suggest that people, instead of staying in a hotel, that they stay in an Airbnb?
When traveling overseas, I still prefer a resort experience, as do my clients, because it tends to be the type of clientele that I work with. They, like to be waited on, hand
Oh
and
yeah.
foot. They like to have that luxury. I've got a butler, or I know that I can contact, front desk right now and get exactly what I need experience. And I'll be honest, I'm still that way myself, so I do prefer resorts. But there is definitely a market for the Airbnb traveler, and I have stayed in many an Airbnb myself. I think it really depends on the destination. We went to Yellowstone this past fall, and we used an Airbnb for that. It was a big group of I want to say there were 8 of us staying in the same Airbnb, and that was the perfect experience for that destination.
All right, all right. Well, now, how would someone that's really interested in getting in contact with you, Alyssa, can you tell us what they should do? Because although you live in Hawaii, there's no reason why you cannot plan a trip for anybody that's living how do y'all say it, on the mainland?
On the
So how would
mainland.
on the mainland? So how would someone get in contact with you for your travel business and wanting to take a luxury trip, a once in a lifetime luxury trip? How do they contact you? What should they do?
Sure, there's several ways to contact me, and I do not have a single client on Hawaii yet. All of my clients are on the mainland, so
Wow.
that's good news. But there's several ways to contact me. You can reach me via email. That email is info@distinctiontravel.org. Or you can this little guy, or you can reach out on one of our social media pages, which you can find Distinction Travel Services on Instagram or Facebook.
I think it's
Um,
going across the screen right now.
yep,
It's on
there's
the
the Facebook
screen.
and the Instagram. And again, you can reach us by email, info@distinctiontravel.org.
Okay, all right. Well, that you've given us a lot of good information, a lot of food for thought, and people my age, we don't need to just keep waiting. Maybe next year, year after next, we need to start
Just
just
go.
zeroing in on that right now. And what better expert? Because I've learned so much tonight from Alyssa because she's been in this business for a while. She says, and she's a teacher. She's a teacher of travel, so I am impressed with her. And I got a really good news for the viewers. Next week, we're going to meet Elliot, her wonderful
The
husband.
man
And we're
behind
going to
all
be talking about
plays.
committed love. And there might be, and I'm going to let the viewers know this by Friday morning, there might be a little bit of a change because we may be doing this show next Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Because with Elliot's work schedule, we needed to make a few adjustments. So I'm excited that you guys are willing to do this again next week. Excited about all the information that the viewers have gotten. And if there's anybody that's watching on the tail end here tonight that would like to ask Alyssa a question, please feel free to do so right now because we're getting ready to sign off in just a second. But we will take another question, and there is the name of her agency. I'm going to call it. It came across the screen. Distinction Travel Services, and she
Yeah.
is
And
an
you can also visit the
expert.
website. Right now, the website is currently distinctiontravel.org, and it's currently being perfected by our web designer. So there isn't too much content there, but it does have a contact us page that will lead you, if you can just click on it, and it'll take you directly to whatever device you're using, email, to be able to send us a message.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so very much. I'm just thrilled that you were able to work out that time where you could come on and share with our viewers tonight all of your expertise. And we need to just I like that sign that Alyssa has behind her head that says, "Do it." just do
Just
it.
go. Yep.
That's what we need to do is just do it. So thank you so very, very much. And I'm still excited that I get to see her. I get to see her next week, and on our Committed Love series. And I'm going to tell my viewers to please tune us in every Friday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And next week there may be a little change, but we're going to be hitting you on our Facebook with that news. But tentatively, we won't be doing a Friday night show. We're going to be doing a Saturday night show. So thank you so very much, and we will see you next week. You have anything else you'd like to add at the end of the show, Alyssa?
No, thank you so much for having me. I think that the time ran perfectly because now we've got a friend here who needs attention.
Okay, that's fine. We've all had little friends in the past. So thank you so very much. And how do we sign off? Do we? Aloha is hello, but you're gonna say what?
It's also goodbye. Aloha.
Okay. Aloha. Aloha. Okay. See you next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.